Hi, Carter from Lange Originals. Today we're in studio. We're doing some installation instructions on the camper shell Hoist-A-Top. Let's get started. Initially, when we get started here, what I'm going to do is take some measurements and just kind of start getting a feel for what I need to do as far as like how big my top is compared to how big my ceiling is and where I'm going to place everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a measurement of my top as to where I want to lift it from. Now, I like to go in a fair amount from the front portion and then have a measurement that's similar in the back. And there's no real answer to this. That's just kind of a feel of like where you feel it's going to lift the very best. For me, I really like about right in here, and that gives me 48 inches between this point and this lifting point as well. And that measurement is important because the 48 inches is going to be where I lift from here, and it's also going to be where I place my hardware on the ceiling. Next, we're going to need to do some measuring inside the actual truck itself. Now, my camper shell is on, so I'm going to have to do the measurements with it on. If yours is off, where you want to measure from is you want to measure from the outside of the bed rail to the very outside of the bed rail. So since my shell is on, I'm just going to put it down in this corner as hard as I can and do a measurement. Now I'm doing the measurement in line with the part that I marked on the outside here where the lifting strap is going to go. So I want to measure about right there in that point. And it looks like my measurement is 70, I've got 71 inches. I'm also going to do that back here for the front section and make that measurement as well. And that is actually 1 inch longer. So I have 72 up here and 71 back here. I'm going to write those down and remember them. After taking measurements inside of the truck, I've pre-cut the 2x4s here. So I have a 71 inch and a 72 inch 2x4. I just cut those with my circular saw. And now it's time to put the brackets on the end. And these go on pretty easy. All you do is slide it onto the end of your 2x4 and make sure everything butts up nicely. And then I like to take the 1 inch screws and put them in the pre-drilled screw holes here. You don't have to pre-drill your 2x4. These screws will go in nicely. And I like to put these in and have those in place. They don't need to be super tight. Now I'm going to drill my 3/8 inch hole here while this is being held. Now this is ready for the eye bolt. So I'm going to take the eye bolt, drop it down through the hole, the washer, and then the nut that has the nylock, the little plastic washer that's inside is the nylock. And then I'm going to tighten these down with my wrench so that the thread is just flush with the end of the nut. It doesn't need to go any farther than that. Okay, so that one's put in. I'm just going to repeat that for the other 3 sides, and the 2x4s will be ready and done. Okay, so I've got my 2x4s here ready to go, and in order to be able to slip this underneath, I'm going to need to create some distance in between the top and the bed rail of the truck. This can be a little bit of a challenge. I can do it on my own because I have a pretty good technique, and I'll share that with you. What I've done is I've taken just a piece of 2x4 here, a little scrap left over from the cutaway, and it's about 6 inches tall. I found that's a pretty good height to be able to slip everything underneath. So I just stick my hand under this edge right here, and I start on the back side. Just lift that up and tuck that up underneath. Then when I go to do the other side, it's actually much lighter because this is being used as a fulcrum. So I'll just tuck this next section under there as well. And then I'm going to take my 71-inch piece, which is the piece that I measured from the back. And this is about the line that I selected to go under. And then I'm just going to tuck that under there. I'm going to make sure that everything looks straight. And as you can see, and I'll show you in a little different view, but this portion right here, this raised portion, fits in between and under this this edge that goes over the outside, that covers the outside. So I'm just going to make sure that that goes inside of there, but that the eye bolt stays on the outside. Now I'm going to take these out, put them under the front, and do the same procedure. Looks like this end's going to be a lot heavier. Actually, it's not. Again, this is a fulcrum. And so all I have to do is just lift this up a bit and tuck that right under like that. Then the other side will go up even easier than that one. Now I'm going to take my 72-inch. I'm going to make sure that those are lined up properly so that the eye bolt is on the outside and that this spacer bracket right here is... Before I take this wedge out, I'm just going to make sure that my distance between the eye bolts, the lifting eye bolts, is the correct measurement that I want. And that was 48 inches. So I'm right on 48 inches from center to center. And then that way I know that when I connect the straps and the straps go to the ceiling, they'll line up right with the two lifting points that I have on my ceiling. As you can see, we've installed our power unit up here on the ceiling, and I'm not going to go over any of the installation portion of the power unit because there's another video that I'll put the link to on this video so that you can watch that. But you need to know that the distance between this strap coming down and that strap coming down is our measurement of 48 inches or 4 feet. So that matches up with our brackets down below. So I'm going to take my lifting strap now and make sure that everything is straight. Then I'm going to take the quick link that's attached here to the end of this lifting strap and just connect that to this triangle shaped lifting. And then I make sure that the quick link is tightened down and is in the safe position. Then I'm going to lower, spread these out evenly, and then lower this strap down to this bracket right here. And I'm going to connect that, and then I'm going to tighten these straps. Now that we have the strap connected to our power unit and then also connected down below to the eye bolt, I want to make some adjustments to this strap up here on the top. So ultimately the goal here is that we want to make sure that our bracket stays centered with the center of the top. That way it'll lift nice and even and nice and straight. So we'll tighten these down as much as we need to, just so it's nice and snug. It doesn't need to be super tight, but we'll pull those pretty snug there. And then we're ready to make sure that strap is nice and straight. Okay. All right. And I can see that this is lined up right here with this back light. Just make sure that this bracket is lined up nicely and these are fairly snug. We're finally ready to lift the top. We've got all of our hardware attached. Make sure that all the safety nuts are down. We've got the straps adjusted up on top and hooked up to the power unit. I also have gone through and just made sure that there's no loose wires or anything that's connected to the truck still at all. And then I'm ready to lift and store it up on the ceiling. Thanks very much for watching. We certainly hope you enjoy this product. This product we use ourselves, and we hope that you like it as much as we do. Thanks very much.